I look back at the times in my life where I was burnt out. You're burning out because you forgot your why. When someone says, oh, I understand, no, you can't say that unless you've walked in someone's shoes. All my lines of credit completely wiped out. I almost lost my children. Spending a night in prison. It's all about being relentless. I said, there's no fucking way I'm going down without a fight. I can't emphasize this enough, is invest in yourself. Like, if you're not going to invest in yourself, no one's going to invest in you.
I love it. Wow.
What is up, YouTube? Matt McKeever here, and in today's video, Shaheer from my wholesale team catches up with Mark Smith, the 7-2 investor, and just dives deeper into his backstory as well as how he's leveling up as a real estate investor. This is a problem I see with a lot of investors where they get to some initial success and then they seem to hit a wall or a ceiling and they struggle to move past it. In today's video, Mark's going to share what's been the catalyst for him to take his investing to the next level, but he's also going to share with you he's had some struggles along the way, including a 6-figure divorce that really set him back, and a lot of people would probably use that as an excuse just to stop right there rather than continuing to push forward and focus on their dreams. So I'm really excited for today's video. Let's just dive into it.
What is going on, guys? My name is Shaheer Shahid. I'm actually one of the top wholesalers on Matt McKeever's team, and today I'm here with my man Mark Smith, and we're just going to be diving deep, just having a raw conversation on how he's dealing with COVID-19 and all the ups and downs of his projects. I know you're a lot of flips in the moment, so how is everything going? Because we did talk last time in the other interview in your other property, and it's been a long time coming about, so yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know what, COVID-19, first and foremost is, for those that have been affected by loss, loss of job, loss of income, loss of family members, my heart goes out to you guys. It does suck. But you know what, I go by the 7-2 real estate investor for a reason, right? And the reason I call myself the 7-2 real estate investor is that as a poker player, when I used to play poker with my buddies, the 7-2 is the worst possible hand you can have in poker. So statistically speaking, you actually want to then fold that hand.
Right.
Life will deal you a bad hand all the time. You can't just go and fold that hand. Well, and some people do. They claim victim, the system's against me, or the system's fucked up, or whatever it is. In life, you want to be able to play that hand. And for myself, COVID was a bad hand. And I said, I'm not going to fold. I just need to pivot. I need to be smart with my cards now. And that's exactly what I've done. In fact, since COVID, I actually tripled down on my effort. Like I said, hey, while people were taking their chips to the cashier, I was going to the ATM and bringing the chips to the table and let's go.
Love it.
And that's exactly what happened.
No, I love it.
And just like in 2008, 2009, when, sadly people were losing their homes, they were over leveraged and so forth, a lot of people said those going into the market at that time were crazy, they were stupid, they were dumb, didn't know what they were doing. And now you look back at them, they're legendary, they're legends. Why? They took calculated, measured risks. Yeah. And that's exactly what I've been doing during this time of COVID.
I love it, man. So especially with you going during COVID, like what was that 7-2 moment during that period?
There was a lot, actually. There was a lot. One actually is like medical sales. Like, shit, man. I'm selling mechanical ventilators, ICU ventilators on the news. Like it's crazy. Like everybody needs a ventilator, they're saying, right? Because of COVID-19. I had to walk away. I had to take a leave from what I was doing. It was just being in a minimum security prison with the JOB, and my income was quite high and that kind of stuff. I said, I can't do this. I cannot do this. I'm not in a healthy relationship at all. I mean, I was in a toxic relationship. I'm still going through a divorce. And then, of course, going through another toxic relationship with an employer, and it just wasn't going anywhere. And I had to be selfish, and I had to think about myself and why I'm doing things.
Wow.
Right? And I was talking to someone today about it, is that I look back at the times in my life where I was burnt out, and you can say you're burnt out because you're tired and all the other stuff. You're not burnt out because you're tired. You're burning out because you forgot your why. That's what burnout is you forgot your why. I burnt out because I forgot my why I was doing those things.
Let's focus on that for a second. So now, when you were going through the process of like, you know what, I got to let go of my job, I got to find a new path, and obviously it was real estate investing, right? Now, what made you kind of reflect and be like, you know what? I gotta make sure, what is that grit? What is that perseverance? Like, what was that thing that was just pushing you?
Yeah, you know what? I had to, unfortunately, I've actually had a lot of people in my life, even so most recently in investment, because essentially I have coaches now, and I'll talk about that in a second. But it was really understanding why I'm doing things. Why am I existing? What is my purpose? And prior to all this, it was always, oh, this is all foo-foo stuff. Like, this Dr. Phil bullshit. I don't need this shit. Like it was, and what was preventing me from getting to that next level was 3 letters: ego. And it wasn't ego. People could look at ego, and ego can be seen as, oh, this guy's a prick. He's, he thinks he's better than, whatever. No. People become like that. I was like that. I was an asshole. But ego is related to being insecure. Insecurity then gets you to become that asshole. And I just had to have that self-reflection. But I needed to be around people that could help me expose my own vulnerabilities. And that's how I was able to determine the whys and so forth. So for me, how can I have 4 amazing children? How can I tell them, do what you want in life, be your own boss? The world is your oyster, and yet they look at their old man, working as a slave for someone else, and unhappy, and burning out. What type of example does that, like if I'm stealing all the time, guess what? My children will probably start stealing too. If I'm unethical all the time, the kids see it, they're gonna wanna follow suit. That's just the reality of it. So these are some of my decisions I had to make. So to go back to the original question is, how did COVID impact me? It was the best fucking thing that ever happened to me.
I love it. Wow.
Right? Because I was able to pivot and make some hard decisions. Like I said, I basically, instead of taking my chips to the cashier, I went to the ATM and I put them on the table. Since COVID-19, let's just say it was mid-March, my growth has just escalated. I've lost 20 pounds of weight already, okay? I'm doing fasting. I'm watching what I eat. I've invested in more coaches. So right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coaches right now, okay? So I have Matt McKeever. He's one of my coaches. Humble CEO is one of my coaches through Cashflow Tribe. So both Matt and Humble CEO through Cashflow Tribe. I have Corey McKinnon, who's one of my coaches as well. Okay, I hired a coach for my personal well-being. I have Chris Root as one of my coaches, and Chris Root is one of the biggest wholesalers in the U.S.
I didn't even know that. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So I have amassed people around me because I've come to realize that I'm a high-performance individual. When you're a high-performance individual, you cannot just have one coach. You look at the all-star entrepreneurs, you look at the all-star NHL players, they just don't got one coach. They have multiple coaches. They're all specialized in what they do best for acceleration, okay? For speed or whatever it is. I had to do the same thing. So how I've been able to make a lot of the bold decisions is having surrounded myself with top-end coaches.
Like you definitely are an individual who invests a lot of money in themselves.
Yes.
Like you have 5 coaches. I didn't even know that Chris Root was your coach. He's one of the top wholesalers in the States. So that's amazing to even hear. Now, is there a specific reason why you have 5 coaches?
Absolutely.
Why?
Absolutely. How can anyone invest in me if I'm not investing in myself? Okay, that's the reality. If I'm not going to invest in me, why the fuck should anyone invest in me? Okay, whether I'm looking for private money, whether I'm looking for a deal coming to you and so forth. And that's the biggest thing that really pisses me off is I speak to so many people. I get messages every day, and I tell people, invest in yourself. Well, no, I want to get my first deal first. Fuck off. Yeah, that's ego. Just call it what it is. You can either use all your down payment, buy one property, and then play with your dick after and figure out what you're gonna do, or you can actually take that money and invest in yourself and have 10 properties. It's about compression of time. And what I'm sharing here is because, and I say this with passion because I was there. I get it. And I had to have this pivotal moment in my life where I had to get kicked in the teeth, almost lose everything, lose my children, all that stuff. I mean, I spent a night behind bars. I spent a night behind fucking bars. And before I was ashamed by it. Now this is what's made me.
You embraced it.
I embraced it. It was the most safest feeling I've ever had, being in a jail cell. Okay? Yeah, there was false accusations and allegations and so forth. They were all dropped. Like the judge said, you've been through enough, sir. I can't believe you're going through this. Go home. We're dropping everything. I didn't go back and sit down and say I'm a victim and this kind of stuff. I said, I need to do something about this. So I want to encourage people. So that's what fuels me. And what fuels me is when going back to those that don't want to invest in themselves. It's like, well, then I'm sorry. I can't help you. Well, can you go over this deal with me? Fuck no. What are you doing for yourself? A lot of my JV partners that approach me, they know their prerequisite to do business with me on some capacity is they have to be able to invest in themselves. If they're not, forget it. It's not happening. Reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad doesn't cut it. Watching all of Matt McKeever's videos does not cut it for me.
Until you actually do take action, though.
Take action. They got to do something. Invest in yourself. What are you doing to invest in yourself? That's it.
So for the viewers who are watching, and you already don't know by now, but Mark is very passionate, right? Like Mark has so much fuel in him and he's ready to blast off. Like, I know you have a lot of goals to achieve in the future. Like, what is that goal that you want to achieve that will satisfy you?
Yeah, you know what? My goals are shifting. And I think that's what happens when you're a high performance individual. Your goals are always, you can't just always say, hey, I want to hit a certain level, but your goals also have to scare the fuck out of you. If you're not scaring you, you're not trying hard enough. Okay? So, I mean, a couple goals I can share, and I've thrown it out there now. It's very gray, but I've already declared, hey, I am going to invest $1 million into my self-development, my personal $1 million. Because if I've already invested $50,000 in myself, and look where I am today, where will I be if I put $1 million into myself? If I put $1 million in myself, what kind of people am I going to be attracting? The bullshit transactional, help me analyze a deal? Or like, hey, you got your shit figured out. We got to do something together. Right? Just a whole other vibration level. I mean, another goal I set to myself actually on a weekend. I said this to Zara. We were watching Impact Theory. I said, watch, I'm going to be on that show. Watch, I'm going to be on that show. Right? So those are some of the goals I look at. I don't look at a goal as, hey, I want to have X amount of money in my pocket. Fuck, what am I going to do with it? It's just a checkbox, right? I mean, I've thrown it out there to a lot of people in my mastermind. I want to be, I'm going to be a fucking billionaire. I want to climb Everest. That's my mountain. I'm not going to say I'm just going to climb any mountain. If I'm going to be a mountain climber, that should be the goal. So if I want to be successful in life in that billionaire status, what am I going to do with $1 billion? Fuck, I don't even know what to do with $1 million. I don't even know what to do with $10,000. Right? So it's about the constant drive, constant push. 3 months ago, I developed routines. These routines are non-negotiable. So my morning routine is so precious to me, it's non-negotiable. I will not give up my fucking morning routine for anything. Okay? So my morning routine is I wake up every day at 4:45 in the morning. Okay? I read. I make sure I get 10 pages in. I get my exercise in. Those are so critical. So not only am I investing myself with being in smaller rooms, having coaches, I'm investing in myself because, you know, as one of my coaches, Chris Root says, some of us, the way our brains operate, it's like you can imagine a Ferrari engine. A Ferrari engine can't be running at all cylinders all the time. Why? It's going to burn out. It's going to break. Okay? Our minds are firing away constantly. So we got to protect that mind. We got to protect our mindset. How do we do it? We got to protect it by our fort, which is our body. So that's how I've been able to double down as well on investing in myself.
So really just changing your environment so that really just...
You have to change your environment.
Do you want to get control of your financial life? Do you want to crush it in real estate with wholesaling? Do you want to join my full-time team of wholesalers like Mike? Or Shaheer? Or what about Tyler? Or Diego? Or what about Amar? Alright, and what do we do, boys?
We make offers, we buy fast, never gonna miss a deal cause we pay cash. Offers, 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 deals, deals, deals. Tell us, Mr. Seller, what price do you feel? Cause we're Southwestern's biggest source of deals.
Boom! So if you guys want to crush it with wholesaling, you need to join my team. And down below, video description, there's all the links you need.
You have to change your environment. Who gives a fuck what people think about you? I mean, that's the thing I've come to realize. Like someone that says, "Oh yeah, I don't like Mark Smith." Okay, thank you. When the old me like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. What can I change?" Fuck you. You don't like me? Okay, great. That's okay. I'm okay with that. I can sleep okay at night. My circle of friends. I mean, I was like the popular kid. We used to have all these fucking parties all the time and so forth. Now, my circle of friends is much smaller. I have a circle of allies, which are key. Because my allies are going to give me the truth and saying, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing with that? Like, why did you do this?" Instead of a friend who's saying, "Hey, let's go sing Kumbaya and you're doing fine. Yeah, good for you." Right? So it's about the people you surround yourself with, the environment you're in. You know, there's a saying, I think it's a Persian saying, a proverb or whatever, is that you can't, if the flower isn't growing, you don't go change the flower. You take that flower, you change its environment. Right? If your flower is like getting wilted or whatever and it needs sun, you're going to put it in a window to get sun. So the same thing for me. I had to change my environment.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. And then, so during COVID or pre-COVID, you made a podcast, right?
I made a podcast.
You made a podcast. And now with that podcast, obviously you're doing a very good job. You're about to hit 500 subscribers.
Well, on YouTube, yeah.
On YouTube?
Yeah.
Man, that's amazing. So from that stage of starting the podcast, have you attracted a lot of hate because of the way that you kind of opened up? Like, how's that been?
I'm actually quite surprised. I'm actually quite surprised. I've had a couple haters already, which just tells me I'm hitting the big leagues. But again, it's more of a self-reflection on that individual. I don't take it personally. And you know, the reason I started the podcast actually is actually prior to me even coming out with the podcast, based on what I went through, you know, with you know, spending the night in jail and all the other stuff and my expensive divorce, I said to myself, I want to help people. So what I did was I actually got a domain on a website, and I was actually in the process of creating a site called Men Too. So instead of like Me Too, it was called Men Too.
Okay.
But I quickly realized, like, what the fuck am I doing here? I'm creating toxicity, I'm creating hate. Because all this is going to become a bitch fest about how someone got screwed. But I said, I need to do something because I need to share my story and I want to talk to people. I want to learn. So Matt McKeever actually, and I think that's when I had met you. It was at a local meetup. And Matt was on stage and he threw it out there. He goes, "I'm just surprised no one out there is doing this kind of stuff." And I said, what do I have to lose? I'm going to do this. I'm going to go out and start a YouTube channel, I'm going to start a podcast. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to figure it out. And because I'm a firm believer, done is better than perfect. And since February or so, I think I started with the podcast, trying to find the direction I wanted to go. And I just said, I'm going to be real and raw. I don't edit. Like I joke, if I fall off a chair, it's staying in there. I mean, I did a podcast yesterday, the phone rang, I answered it, like shit happens. But what I said to myself was, when I'm doing a podcast or I'm doing a YouTube video with someone, pre-COVID, if I wanted to have some of these guests and arrange a time to meet them for coffee, it'd be very difficult. Now everybody's at home. How about we just get on a call together? You okay if we film it and let the world know? Wow. So it becomes a conversation that I throw out to the world.
I love it because now, since depending on how many people watch your podcast, you're sharing that conversation with that certain amount of people. So it's going to go out to everybody. I love that.
Yeah, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, I checked it out. I think I've had about 2,000 people listen to my podcast, which is huge. And if I'm just impacting one person, that's the goal. But selfishly speaking, I'm being impacted directly by speaking to my guests, because we get real, we get raw, we get dirty. We talk about people's vulnerabilities. We talk about people's insecurities. I mean, as real estate investors, yeah, it doesn't matter what fucking car you drive. We're all human beings. We all have to put on our pants one leg at a time. Everybody's dealing with shit. So I have open discussions about relationships.
Yeah, you really have people opening up to you because you, especially with you, you're so passionate about what you want to achieve. Like you tell your personal experiences, like you've been in jail, you've gone through a terrible divorce, and you've gone through a lot of shit that other people would really fold that hand. But you've embraced it, and you've really just used it as a tool to really help other people deal with their situations, right? I remember when you disclosed that information to me, I was like, whoa, like that hit me because no one had ever told me that. So the fact that you opened up to me was like, okay, I gotta make sure that I reciprocate, and that's how it really works. So I'm glad.
Yeah, it was, and these are things like, I mean, and like I said, I mean, when someone says, "Oh, I understand," no, you can't say that unless you've walked in someone's shoes. I mean, I've had all my lines of credit completely wiped out without my permission. $185,000 in divorce and legal bills still ongoing. Spending a night in prison. Toxic relationship with my employer. All these things, these are all things. I almost lost my children, and you know, and having my children exposed to a lot of the bullshit that happens through a divorce. But it's all about being relentless. I said, there's no fucking way I'm going down without a fight.
That's amazing. So you obviously want to become a billionaire, right? You will become a billionaire. Now, who is that person gonna be?
You know what? It's gonna be someone that's ambitious. And it's all about servitude. Like people ask me, like, at the end of the day, what am I looking to do? Like, what is my purpose? And when I look at the real estate side of my purpose is I want to help everyone I can achieve their dreams through real estate investing. That's what I want to do. I love helping others. I've always believed in service. My parents always taught me that. Serve others, serve others, serve others. Because I know by serving others, I'm serving myself. So having said that, that's my goal. I know that how I'm gonna get to that point is just by helping people. And even when I'm at that point, being a billionaire, what it allows me to do is allows me to help more people. I can go build a community for people. I mean, I have ambitious goals. I wanna create schools. I wanna have schools that are in third world countries or what have you, that are dedicated towards helping these children become skillful trades. I want to create schools for women to become successful entrepreneurs. Give them the tools, real estate investors. So I could have on one side said, oh, look, I got screwed by a woman or whatever it is, and I'm getting screwed by the system. And I could have said, oh, men only, and forget all that stuff. I said, no, that was just a circumstance, whatever, people's insecurities. I'm saying, no, I'm not giving up on those dreams.
I actually resonate a lot with that because me being an immigrant from Pakistan, a third world country, like we've experienced a lot of unfortunate situations in that country, right? So just me thinking like when I become that person who has that ability to help others and to serve, like the way you were saying, to be in that environment to help people kind of grow. So especially like one of my goals is to definitely bring some of that money back to Pakistan, open up schools, build mosques, and really just serve the community because I feel like it's my responsibility because that's my motherland, right? So like I agree that like philanthropy, that whole like serving yourself for others, it's so huge, and especially with that goal, it's so bigger than yourself that it's not going to stop you, right? Because like the way you said, if you have an egotistic like why, then when you hit something that's bigger than you, then you're not going to go past that. But if you have a why that's bigger than you, that's going to push you so much further. So I resonate with that a lot, man.
For sure. And you know, even like, you know, I was born and raised in Canada, and you know, my parents moved to Edmonton, which was like the, you know, at the time, the redneck of Canada. I mean, I faced racism like you wouldn't believe. Like, I went to a French school, so you got a brown dude learning French. I mean, I was called everything, but I look back at those moments and yeah, I could have all this rage and anger and that kind of stuff. But I think that just was fueled my passion saying, hey, you can either lead, follow, or get the fuck out of my way. So, and you know, in making that decision to do real estate full time was the game changer for me because I said, I'm living life on my terms now.
Yeah, and especially your partner that you're with, Now she's involved in your real estate career now. She's quit her full-time job. Is that true?
Well, no, she was laid off because of COVID. No, she still has, her passion is to build things. So she has an opportunity that's come up, and I told her to chase her passion. She's doing other courses on home staging, and that kind of stuff because of our business. It'd be nice to keep it within the I shouldn't say within the family, but within the business.
Right.
So she's doing things like that. But I told her, follow your passions. Follow your passions.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're gonna wrap it right here, guys. Was there anything else that you wanted to mention to the viewers?
You know, it just, I can't emphasize this enough, is invest in yourself. Like, if you're not going to invest in yourself, no one's going to invest in you, okay? And all you are going to be doing is feeling sorry for yourself and wondering why the fuck you're not moving forward. That's my advice. Investing in yourself is what trumps entitlement. That's what's going to trump entitlement. If you feel you have a God-given right to have any of these rights, no. You have to go fucking earn that right. So invest in yourself.
I love it, man. I love it. Where can they find you, Mark Smith?
So Facebook, Mark Smith, Instagram, the 72 Real Estate Investor. My podcast is the 72 Real Estate Investor, and my YouTube channel is the 72 Real Estate Investor.
All right, perfect. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. My name is Shaheer Ethic. Well, Shaheer Ethic. You can find me on Instagram. And aside from that, guys, thank you so much for having me.
It was awesome.
All right, have a great day, guys. Take care.
Thanks again to Shaheer and Mark for shooting this video. If you guys enjoyed this video and you'd like more interviews like this, what I need you to do is jump in the comment section and show us some love, as well as smash that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to my channel. If you guys want to see previous videos with Mark and Shaheer, we're going to throw a playlist up right here. Otherwise, if you just want more great Canadian real estate investing content, check out this playlist right here. I'll see you guys in the next video. Go do more deals.